Hey crafters, welcome to another episode of Maymay Made It. Tonight I want to show you something that was kind of brought about by necessity. And you know they say that necessity is the mother of invention. Well, in this case it is for me. I had seen on Stamp TV with Gina K where she had taken a brayer, and she, especially a rubber brayer like this one, and she took rubber bands and she just put them on here willy-nilly, kind of all over the place, ran them through her ink pad, and then she ran them onto paper, and that made a cool background. Well, I have a class coming up this weekend and I'm going to be making kind of a journal, and we need some journaling tags. And I don't have a lot of journaling stamps like with lines on them. So I thought I'm going to have to figure out how to do this on my own. So here's what I did. I bought a pack of rubber bands, a pretty good size pack. I'll show you. This pack came from Target, and it's, how many are in here? It just says assorted sizes, which I think I learned from my mistake. Don't buy the assorted sizes because you may not have all you need. So buy like one size. And another thing I want you to learn from my mistake is make sure you get them that have a little thickness to them. You can see how thick this one is. This is probably about 1/8 of an inch. I don't know if you're going to be able to find them that are measured for you, but you want something a little thicker because when you stretch them, they're going to get thinner. So you want to make sure you have something that can hold up to stretching. Then what you're going to need is your Fiskars stamp press. Now this is going to give it away, but that's what I've done. I've taken those rubber bands and I've stretched them around my Fiskars stamp press. Now what I did was I used my lines on the stamp press as an example. I want to show you what I'm talking about. Can you see where the paper is? You can see those grid lines. I used those grid lines to help me line these up. And at first I had put them on every single grid line, but that's a little too close together for writing, so I spread them apart. And here's all I did. I took the rubber band and I stretched it out across the stamp press. Now the most important thing you want to make sure of is that there's no twists in your rubber band, which is another good reason for using the thicker rubber band. Then slide it into place. You don't want to roll it. You want to slide it into place. A little harder to line that one up from my angle that I'm at, but I think that's pretty close. And I'm just going to add the one more. Now the cool thing about this is you have clear stamps. Just like with our Close to My Heart stamps, it's a clear stamp. So if you stamp this and then you want to move it down and stamp it again, you'll be able to. Now for demonstration, that's easy for me to say, for purposes tonight, I'm going to use some Stays On ink in brown just to sample it. Now, this is my second attempt. My first attempt I did with skinnier rubber bands. It did not work. I'm thinking you're gonna have to have these thicker rubber bands and really, really, really ink them up. This is already looking better than my first attempt. So here is a piece of white paper because I want you guys to be able to see this really good. Here is our Fiskars stamp press, and I'm gonna press. Now, I'm thinking I'm gonna wanna run my hand all over it to make sure it touches everywhere because they're pretty skinny and my sponges are pretty thick. So let's lift it up. That is a much, much better try than last time. Let's flip it over and do it one more time. I'm going to ink it up even more. My theory was that if the ink pad can touch it everywhere, then it can touch the paper everywhere. So let's try it again. Maybe what I need to do is press in this manner and then just physically press. Getting better. That's looking a lot better. I'm thinking as the stamps get wetter, you'll get even better designs. So let's try it again. I'm going to try something else that I know to do. I'm going to put something squishy behind it so that it's got room to squish. I'm going to ink this again since I kind of let it dry. Because you know that ink pad is kind of squishy. So let's see what happens with the squishy behind it. And yes, squishy is a technical term. There it is. That's exactly what I was looking for. So the trick is to have something squishy behind it. We know that with stamping because we have to give it a little give. But if we made this into a little journaling tag, how cute would this be? And it gives us some lines that we might not have had before. I'm going to do it again on the back to let you see it. What really made the difference was putting this little pad underneath it. So let's do it again. Let's do it in black this time so we can see it really good. Again, with my stays on, you know it's my favorite. And I think my black stamp pad is wetter. It's gonna make a mess of my stamp press. Okay, squishy paper, put it in place, press it down. And one thing I did different was I took my braider and I ran across it. I think I get more pressure that way. There we go. Pretty good. I think that's going to work for me, especially since I'm kind of doing not a grunge album, but I'm kind of doing a kind of worn texture. But isn't that neat? So there's some journaling lines for you if you need it. You're going to have to play with this and get this just right, and make sure you get the same width of your rubber bands, because if they're not, it's not going to work. So play with it a little bit, and you know, it may not work for everybody, but I hope it's a good idea for some of you. And by the way, you can also wrap them around your blocks just by taking this little dude, just put it around the block. And this one's not tight enough. Let me do it with a tighter one. And I'll just show you like one example. But you can, and they're harder on the block because to me, there's no line to make them straight, but you can do it on the block. You can put it in, you know, I wouldn't do one line unless you just needed one line. Put it into your ink, stamp it, and look, that's a perfect line. It's awesome. So try it out. Rubber bands, some ink, and have some fun. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. I hope it helps you out. See you next time. Bye-bye.